Well, hello, welcome to I Love Gay today. And we are jumping all the way out to Los Angeles, and we are here with Stephen Barber from Fire Productions. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for your time, man. Beautiful Friday morning.
It's good to connect with you. And you're not just in LA, you're in Santa Monica, where, I mean, everybody, Santa Monica, Venice, that whole area, everybody loves where you live.
Yeah, West Los Angeles. It's become quite the everybody here's in the entertainment business. Everybody drives
Oh,
a
yeah.
Land Rover. Everybody everybody has a Range Rover. Everybody's an editor or a writer or a director, or they want to be an editor or a writer or a director. So it's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
But no, jumping right into it because it's important. You have created something, and it's launching here in New York, in Long Island, at the
absolutely.
Cradle of Aviation Museum, June 17th, and it's a week before Pride, by the way. Um, but you have created the Sally Ride sculpture monument, and it's going to be debuting that day, and that's amazing.
Well, I am the visionary. So just a real quick history. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was working with Buzz Aldrin on a documentary. Buzz is a very good friend of mine, second man on the moon. Because of legal reasons, we had to scrap the documentary, and it was like 2018, and I was just devastated because I'm 61. I grew up with Aldrin and Collins and Shepard and these the Mercury astronauts and the Gemini guys, and these were my heroes, right? So to be able to do a documentary for the 50th anniversary, it was a dream come true.
Yeah.
Well, I literally went on a bike ride, and I had this epiphany to build the monuments. It was kind of like this my field of dreams moment, right?
Yeah.
And I got it done. I mean, I could tell you how impossible it was that nobody had ever done it before, and I was just I just hit the sweet spot, and I got to the right people, and I raised $750,000. So I built the Apollo 11 monument, which 2.5 million people a year are seeing at the Kennedy Spacer. Immediately off that success, I was just kind of in the zone, in the sweet spot again. I raised another $750,000 to build the Apollo 13 monument, and this was in the middle of COVID. I mean, I can't even tell you how I did it. And during my journey, it just occurred to me, I'd go to Kennedy Space Center, I'd go to the Johnson Space Center, I'd go to Huntsville. There were no women, anything. There was nothing there was no diversity. There was no black people. There were no Hispanic people. There was nothing, right? Except a bunch of white guys like me, holding rockets, right? And and as a white guy that likes to hold rockets, I get it. But I thought, man, this is 2022. We've got to do something, right? So I didn't think I could really do it, but I started to work on the Sally Ride. I thought, you know what, if I'm going to build a female monument, it's got to be Sally. I mean, she didn't just break the glass ceiling. She crushed it, right? And she didn't go up on that suicide rocket once. She went up twice. And then she became the leader of the Challenger accident committee. I mean, and she completely changed Morton Thiokol's design. And as an aerospace guy, she was a physicist. She was a brilliant woman, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it all started. And just through a happenstance and luck and God and being at the right place at the right time, I raised another $300,000.
Yeah.
And don't anybody call me to raise money for them, because I don't know how to do it except for this, right? And then I took it to the Lundin sculptors, who are just these brilliant, America's greatest sculptors out of Loveland, Colorado.
Yeah.
I can't draw a stick figure. I'm a filmmaker. You'll see a couple of my films on the back that Kelsey Grammer narrated, but I just don't have that kind of acumen. But I'm a pretty good sales guy, and I've got a lot of passion. So when I can come up with the money for these projects, I can find the people to either make the film or make the monument. And the Lundin brothers out of Loveland, Colorado, Mark and George Lundin, and then Joey Boehner, young sculptor. He's kind of their heir apparent. They are incredible. They don't use CAD. They just do everything by hand, and they are literally the leaders in the space monument business. And I took this to them. They're like, Barber, if you can get the money, we'll build her, right?
Yeah.
And sure enough, I got the money. We wanted to put her on the West Coast because this is where Sally Ride Science is, and this is where Sally's from. But it was, once again, it was in the middle of COVID. I couldn't get anybody on the phone. I couldn't get it done. Andrew Parton, who is just this genius, brilliant leader at the Cradle of Aviation Museum, he and I had struck up a friendship years earlier, and I brought this to him. He's like, look, you want to bring me a $300,000 monument for free and put it in my not in, it's going to be outside. It's going to be the first thing people see. He said, I will shepherd this project along. And he has made it happen. Without his tenacity and, what it takes to actually, you can't just build a monument. You got to go through the city. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of politics. So that's how it happened. So we literally finished her it's being finished today. She'll go to the foundry on Monday, which is a little disconcerting because I have a live camera on her right now, and
Yeah.
they cut her up. They take the head off, they take off the arms, and I'm like, they did that with Apollo 11 and Apollo 13, and I'm like, no, don't cut her, But that's how it's done. They cut all the legs off, and then they take it over to the foundry and they pour the mold, and
Yeah.
it's a very intricate process. So that's the short story of how Stephen Barber has become, monument maker to the world in the sciences. I mean, that I can't tell you how I'm doing it. I can tell you that in this country, if you have an idea, if you have a vision, and you never quit, and you overcome, you improvise, you adapt, you can't fail. And I'm not a man of means. I mean, you see my apartment. I'm in a rent control apartment here, Santa Monica, which is actually a rent control apartment in Santa Monica means a lot to a lot of people. But I don't make millions of dollars. I make a nice salary, but I had a vision, and I had a dream, and I brought other people in on it. So anybody can do whatever they want in this country. It's really quite remarkable.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. And it's interesting, as a side note, as you mentioned, I got my degree in aerospace engineering, and you said something as you were talking, you glossed over when you were talking about the sculpture not being designed in CAD. And so I'm giving it away. CAD. I grew up on CAD at the very beginning, computer aided design. And that's that whole world that, when it comes to aerospace and how space shuttles are designed and everything. But everything you were talking about, all the names and all that, which leads to, that's why Sally Ride was always top of mind for me, because at the time she was not out, but she was not only the first American woman to fly in space, but she was the first LGBT lesbian astronaut that I think that she didn't come out until right after she passed away, but like that's monumental.
That we know of, yeah. I mean, there was a
right.
Russian woman before her. I don't know what her sexual preference was, but yeah, in America, I mean, she definitely, and none of that came out until, and I don't know why she didn't embrace that. And I don't, it's none of my business, That was her and her wife. And Tam O'Shaughnessy, who was her wife, actually got the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Obama in 2012, which is people can Google that. It's a pretty overwhelming day for her. And, and as luck would have it, or as God would have it, the Sally Ride quarter came out on Tuesday, right? I don't know if you know that, but it came out on Tuesday.
Okay.
So my vision, and I'm a filmmaker, so we're doing a documentary as well. My vision is we've already got about 1,000 young girls that are going to be there.
Yeah.
We've got Girl Scouts. We've got, we want a lot of young kids from STEM. I'm doing an essay contest all through Nassau County. So I'm already going through these. It's like, I thought it'd be a good idea, but I've got like 12,000 so far. I'm like, oh, you pay, right? So, but it's cool because it's 400 to 600. And I thought to myself, I could unveil this and beat my chest and blah. And then I thought, I'm a 61-year-old guy. Why don't I give this honor to some 12-year-old or 13-year-old little boy or little girl? Because we had to do both.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the best essay is a little girl, because I think it would mean a lot more to a little girl. But whoever wins. But I thought, how amazing is it going to be for some 12 or 13-year-old kid to be able to pull the shroud off of this 7-foot monument on a 5-foot pedestal wall? And my goal is to have every little girl to have a Sally Ride quarter in their hand, kind of reaching for the stars, and everybody on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, ride, Sally, ride. Pull off the shroud, and I'm gonna have a couple drone operators there and do a nice video as well. So I think it's gonna mean a lot to whoever that young person is.
That's fantastic. Now I'm gonna make sure in this video that I have links to everything so that people can find not only some videos from you, but also how to find exactly when this event is going to go on and so forth. Because
terrific, thanks.
I think it's important. So, but no, mostly I'm just. Before we go, don't you have a show and tell?
Gee, funny you should ask. Yeah. Yeah, I've got this monument here. So this is Jack Swikert. This is an exact replica of now there's one of these in the B terminal in Denver, which some of your folks may have seen. And there's another one in Statuary Hall at the Capitol, which has been there for 25 years. Kevin Bacon played him in the movie. So we'll make it easy for your viewers. Kevin Bacon played him in the movie. Jack died of a horrific cancer. He'd run for Congress, and he won. Yeah. And he died before he could take office. So his wife actually took the seat for him. But he was the bachelor astronaut that Kevin portrayed in the movie. Yeah. And this is him. And I say hi to him every morning. He died way too young, just like Sally. And this is really going to blow your mind. So this is, like I said, this is an exact replica of Jack, and it's gold and bronze. This is exactly what it looks like, 7 feet high. But you can see the detail. These guys are just, and this is all done by hand.
Yeah.
I mean, none of this is done by CAD. This is all done by hand and pencil and drawing. And that's how these guys were taught. You know, they don't know how to do it any other way. So, I mean, when you look at look at the watch, I mean, look at the intricacies here and the helmet. And I mean, it's really, it's staggering how good these guys are. Yeah. But what's really interesting is, I can't even tell you why, but about 5 or 6 months ago, I couldn't sleep. I got up at 3 a.m. and I just started Googling facts about Sally Ride because I wanted to know more. I thought, well, if I'm building this woman, I should know as much as I can. And then this thing came up where Sally was buried. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I figured she was in San Diego. I knew she was from here. And then I got onto this video of some guy who goes around and looks for celebrity graves. This is what this guy does, right? So I start looking at this. He's like, well, I'm at 14th and Pico. And I'm here at the Sally Ride gravesite. I'm like, 14th and Pico. Well, that's a mile from here. Yeah. That's the Woodlawn Cemetery. And sure enough, she's buried a mile from my house. I go there once a week. I put an American flag. I clean her grave. Yeah. You know, and I talk to her a little bit. I tell her, I said, I think you would have liked me. I am an acquired taste. I'm not sure, but I hope you're okay with me building your monument. She was a very private. She did like an Office Depot commercial and she did Sesame Street, but she never utilized her celebrity to make money. Yeah. She was on boards and I mean, she had a good salary, but she could have made millions. She did not do that. You know, that was, in fact, it's interesting. I just got my Sally Ride doll. No, I'm not kidding. Your timing is really good. We're going to open it up for the audience. This is my I didn't plan my assistant. Well, it's going to take a lot to open it up, but this is my Sally Ride Barbie doll. And because I'm trying to get, I mean, and just so people know, we're still trying to raise a little bit of money. We need to build the pedestal. Yeah. So if anybody's interested in donating, it's nonprofit. They write the check to the Cradle of Aviation Museum. But I was going to wait to open this, but I'm trying to go as quick. Here we go. This is good. This is going to be worth the wait. Brutal. I did not make this up. Look at this, folks. Look at this. Come on. Is this good TV or what? This is look at this. So this is my Sally, and I went to Mattel. I went to Mattel and I said, hey, why don't you give me like $500? Yeah. And we'll just have a great day. And they're not, so it's like, I can't make people see. I think it's a good idea, but I think so too. But, it's and like, well, the woman that answered the phone was like 28. I said, how old are you? She goes, what does that have to do with anything? I said, well, I think it has everything to do with everything. Because I would just think that you make the Barbie doll, so anyway, my struggles as a salesperson to try to persuade people that, genius has been laid on their doorstep. But I'm excited because the people that say yes to me are the people that I need on the projects, right? Yeah. And this is really hard, though. I'm not here all by myself. I mean, after this, I'm going to build Mae Jemison, the first African-American woman in space. I've already gotten the rights to Guy Bluford, the first African-American man in space, and Jose Hernandez. He wasn't the first Hispanic, but he was one of the first Hispanic guys in space, and he's lovely. He lives up in Northern California. Because, like, once again, and I think once Sally's up, the floodgates could open a little more. I don't think it's going to be, I definitely want to do a duplicate here on the West Coast from here. But it's hard, man. I mean, the monument's $300,000, which isn't a lot of dough, but it's a lot of dough, And I think it's a good sell. You get your name on there for 100 years. It'll be there long after we're all off this planet, right? But it's a noble sell, and it's a great journey. And I mean, I can't even believe that I wake up every morning and I pinch myself. I'm like, I built Apollo 11, the greatest story in the history of mankind. I built Apollo 13. I mean, I'm nobody. And when I say nobody, I'm just, like I said, I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a man of means. I'm just a guy that works really, really hard. But I think that is really the key to this story, and people that are watching. If you've got an idea, if you've got a vision, you can do anything, because I've proven that. You can do it out of a rent control apartment in Santa Monica or in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I mean, anything and everything is possible. And I didn't believe that until my late 50s, until the Apollo 11 monument was standing in front of me on that hot summer day when they unveiled it. And I was like, this came from my head. And there it is. And I was like, then I really had this actualization, like, wow. Anything and everything is possible. And I mean, I never believed that. I kind of believed it. People are like, everybody's since the the invent of the cell phone. Everybody's a motivational speaker. If you've noticed, everybody, and and people will tell you everything's possible. Maybe not, but yeah, it is. Everything is possible if you focus in on it and you want it. You will get some sort of degree of it, whether it's the whole enchilada or not. But I'm really fortunate, and I just, like I said, I drop to my knees every day. I pray, and but mostly I get on the phones and beg people for money. That's really like, please give me money.
Well said, but it's your passion. If you haven't figured that out, it's your passion that comes through first and foremost. So I think that's what people will hopefully connect with as well here. Good. And, but no, I'm so glad you were able to, take a few moments of your time, share some of your story. And like I said, very much looking forward to when this all comes together and debuts in June.
Wide open, December 7th. I'm sorry, December.
June.
Yeah, easy for me to say. June 17th, 11 a.m. The Cradle of Aviation. We've reached out to Barack Obama. So if somehow this gets to Mr. Obama, we'd love for him to be part of the unveiling. I mean, he's got skin in the game for sure. And we just want everybody to be there. I mean, it's going to be, as far as I know, it's the first female NASA monument in history. I know it's the first LGBTQ female astronaut science monument in history. I know that for a fact. And it's finally, young girls are going to have a monument that looks like them. I mean, that's never happened before. And only 2% of the monuments in America are women, which is third since they give us all life. I think we can do a little better. And 0.3% are African-American women or Hispanic women. I mean, it's just not existence. The bit staggering. 8% are dogs and cats and horses, right? 2% women, and 89% are white guys like me on a horse with a sword going,
it's our crazy history. But no, thank you again for being here, and look forward to connecting again soon.
My pleasure. Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care now.
So good.